Libras are the seventh house of the zodiac. It's the seventh house of the zodiac and has a lot to do with unions, marriage, and partnerships. It has the keyword of I balance, and it is the purifier of the zodiac. Purifier because it is the sign that harmonizes things. It is, I guess, on the opposite side of Aries, which is the I am, the selfish side of the personality, because the seventh house is the sign wherein you start to become selfless and you start to think of the other person. You start to think of how other people see you. You start to think how you can cooperate with someone, how you can compromise. It has a lot to do with relationships. And it's not just about a relationship with one person, but your relationship with different type of people. And Libra has a lot to do with the fall. It starts at the fall season. And by the word by fall, you would also notice that if you are born or someone is born with their sun in Libra, these type of people tends to be quite, I would not say negative, but tend to have a very sad and depressing tone to them because they are at the place of the chart wherein it's falling. So it's descending. That is why it's at the descendant. That sort of stuff. And even though that they may seem to be very happy, very giddy, very um, funny people, very charming, because um, they are indeed very charming and wonderful and beautiful people. Let's admit that. They have a sad and melancholic type of energy in them as well, and they are the diplomats of the sign. So fairness is very important to them. Fairness, what is right, what is wrong, and that is the very reason why you would see the symbol of Libra or the scales, and you would see that in tarot cards. It is being signified by the Justice card, and it's a sign of the Libra. Everything in balance, and when things are not balanced, Libras are not happy people. And you know, a lot of Libras can be very dominating people, and they may not accept that. I mean, for me, it took me a while to accept that I am kind of, you know, uh, that I have that attitude in me. I am a Libra ascendant, and all my life, I would just assume that all I'm doing, the things that I do, is for the good of all, for things to be fair. But at the same time, I can be very, headstrong, and I can be very dominating. I'm self-willed kind of a person, which can cause a bit of friction to people and to relationships. And it's always very important for such people to be liked by everyone, and which gives you some form of pressure, some form of burden, because it's as if you needed to always wear a mask for you not to be judged, that sort of stuff. So yeah, and for such people, um, to attain a relationship, to develop a relationship, is going to be very important to them. They have great attachment um, in that area of life, and they tend to be very secretive when it comes to their finances, not just with finances actually, with a lot of stuff that they are not comfortable to share to other people. And at times, even with just personal belongings, like for example, for me, if I put my phone on a certain area in my room and I leave the room, and let us say my mom came in, or someone came in and saw my phone and then placed it on a different area of my room. And as soon as I get back, I would remember where I placed my phone. And when I see it's not right there, I get really pissed off. There's something right there that seems to be off and would irritate me. And a lot of Libras tend to be like that. I'm not going to mess up with your phone if I went to your room, so why would you um, make a mess of mine? Why are you going to have my phone put there? So I kind of feel that at that point, it kind of it has a petty side to it, and this is because integrity is another important factor in Libras. So it's as if you need to always prove that that what whatever your worth is has to be proven, you know, and it has that feeling of I will love you if you love me. It's not it's not always a very unconditional love that they tend to have, because it has a lot to do with fairness. They're not going to give all out. Things needs to be balanced. If I give you this, you need to give something back. So that's going to be quite of an issue. And you will also notice that a lot of Libras tends to have a lot of relationship problems that has a lot to do with fairness. Probably a relationship wherein someone is giving more than the other. It could be vice versa, the effects of that can be vice versa. But those are the kind of issues that they could be in concern of. Libras are a very beautiful and sensual sign. They love beautiful things, and they love traveling as well. But I always view Libras having a lot of power with their charm, with their words, because Libras are an air sign, and with the scales, um, whenever we think about the scales, we think about the judge, and they tend to judge things fairly. So you would just know, and you would know and see them um, having some form of issues and problems in making decisions. But once they do, there is a factor of power in them, not the same power when a Leo speaks up, but people tends to be more agreeing with a Libra when they speak of something, because they are always going to make a decision, or they're going to make a conclusion that will be good for all, and for all and everyone involved. And in most cases, it's hard for them to be selfish because they are selfless people. But there are just times wherein, they need to know that sometimes in life, practically wise, they need to love themselves first as well. They also need to have that initiative, selfish side for them to be happy. Not everything is about the other person. They should take care about themselves as well. So yeah, uh, you will also notice that a lot of Libras tend to stay long within their parental nest. Connection to the mother. They are still living with their parents. So you would notice something like that. And if they are, in any case that they have already left their family, you would notice that they still have a great connection to their family. Probably they're still, Skyping together, or, still talking to that person, to their family, to their mom on a very habitual basis. They have that form of bond together. So, yeah. And this is also because of the power of duty and responsibility that they have. So they kind of feel responsible that this is my mom, this is my parents, so they're the one that brought me here on earth. So I have that responsibility to take care of them, to do something for them. It's not as if just because when I grew up I leave my nest and then have my way out in the world and forget about them. It's not like that. And this is also the reason why you would notice that a lot of Libras tends to forgive the other person quite easily, even to the risk of being a doormat at times. So they tend to stay long at relationships, even though it's not even worth it anymore. It takes long for them to make a decision to leave it out, but once they do, it's really, it's really done and over with. Those kinds of stuff. So, yeah. Is there anything I'm missing? So it has a lot to do with the kidneys as well. Libra has a lot to do with the kidneys. I would also say probably with the digestive system, sort of, kind of stuff. And yeah, they can be very, very outgoing, but the most important part is that they are very friendly people. Everyone's going to be friends with a Libra. I really find it so hard for people to, I rarely see anyone telling me that they hate a Libra. I don't think I've ever heard that. Um, a lot of people like Libra. I have a lot of friends who's Libra, and I know a lot of people, having friends with Libra because Libra wants to be liked by anyone, by everyone. So, they don't judge, despite the fact that they are the scales. But they they adjust. They know how to adjust to their environment. So whether you bring them to a classy restaurant or you bring them out to the streets to eat some street foods, they're not going to be, put off by that. They are very accommodating to everyone, and they can adjust well to different kinds of environment as well, which is I think is one of the most beautiful stuff about Libra. And they like things that are beautiful as well. So, and that is the reason why they have a close connection with Venus as well. It's all about beauty, um, career, money, all that stuff. So yeah, it's a very charming sign. And so yeah, that's it about Libra, guys. And the next up, we're going to be starting with Scorpio and the other signs. I personally think that starting from Scorpio to the last part of the zodiac Pisces, these are the signs that will focus more onto the core of a person, the inner soul of the person, and that's going to be interesting for a lot of us. I'll see you again next time.